Disclaimer. The content presented in this show is intended for entertainment purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of any individuals or organizations mentioned. Statements made about public figures or entities are based on publicly available information and are not intended to harm or defame any person or business. This show relies on fair use of social media posts, which are presented in good faith for the purpose of commentary and criticism. Viewers and listeners are advised to form their own opinions. Welcome to Circle Back here on the Circles Off channel. This is the show where we cover the latest and greatest news that comes from gambling Twitter. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We have a great show lined up for you guys, and it's all presented by Kalshi. More on them a little bit later on in the show. But this is the Circles Off channel where we do our educational, lifestyle, entertainment content as part of the Hammer Betting Network. You can check out all of our other channels for the Hammer with the links in the description. But the cast today, it's the usual for your Monday live show, 1 p.m. Eastern time every Monday. I am your host, Jacob Gramegna. I am a creator and producer for the Hammer Betting Network. On the right, we have the Godfather, the CEO of the Hammer Betting Network, professional sports bettor, Rob Pizzola, who is attending a baptism, missed part of the NFL slate yesterday, hence the Godfather. We have in the middle, seasoned basketball bettor Kirk Evans, so far hopefully enjoying the NBA season. And then on the left, we have Geoff Fienberg. I call him the content machine. I don't know what he wants to be called. You let us know how I should describe him for the intros and things like this. But another Sunday NFL in the books. We had a lot to discuss from it. Unfortunately, not a great day for the Chargers. We had Shadeur Sanders, who was very poor in his opener, which we'll discuss. We had a lot in the MVP debates. What were the big takeaways, I think, overall from you guys?
For me, it's that I can never miss an NFL Sunday again. As Jacob alluded to, I was gone for the most of the day. I haven't had a day like that in forever. A close friend of mine asked me to be the godfather for their daughter. So just like a full day's event. It's Monday now. I've even reviewed the box scores. I've watched as much as I could. I still feel like I'm so far behind. Not that I would change anything. I'm not complaining, by the way. It's an honor to be asked to do stuff like that. It's a privilege, really. But I just haven't experienced that in forever. Like, I don't remember what it was like to not watch 6 hours straight of NFL on Sunday and then have to recap it afterwards. But Geoff, you're giving me a look.
No, I mean, listen, I'd accept, and then there'd be like a moment the day before in the morning where I'm like, if I throw myself down the stairs right now, like, I don't have to go.
You know what? It didn't quite dawn on me to like what are the possible scenarios if like I'm sick, I come down with a bad illness or whatever. But I would never do something like that. It's just so tough, man. It's like it's ingrained in my routine, like everything about it. And then as hard as I try not to be that guy, we're at church. The mass is at 1:30. Okay, there's 15 kids getting baptized, so this is like an hour and a half thing. But they're calling up the families one by one, so you got a lot of downtime when you're in that pew. And what do you think I'm doing in the downtime? I'm not full out like watching the games at that point. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm like mass refreshing.
But you don't know your number?
What do you mean I don't know?
Like, you don't know like where you are in the queue?
You do. It's alphabetical.
So that's what.
We're right in the middle.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So like if you're 8 and they're at 2, you can like step out for like a little.
I guess I could have stepped out. You never know. I don't know how long it's going to go. The funny thing is like, I'm looking around me because each pew is reserved, like the first 4 for family, right? And the godparents. And I'm looking around and like I'm seeing like Yahoo Fantasy from the guys like in front of me. Everybody is doing the exact same thing as me. So I'm like, all right, I'm okay here. But living through box scores is no way to live. Like all of a sudden the score just changes. You have no idea what happened. The play-by-plays are so slow. You go to the chat. I'm in the chat on the score app, and like everyone's lying to each other.
The score app's just the worst place to check news. Like, why would you do that to yourself, man?
If you're in the chat in the score app, you've done something wrong. You've gone the wrong way. That's the place you just never want to be.
There was one game, I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was a massive swing. So it could have been a pick six. It might have been like, maybe it was Joe Flacco. I'm trying to remember, but one team had the ball driving the field, and all of a sudden the scores, other teams got 6 points. So I'm trying as quickly as possible.
Probably Carolina.
Could have been Carolina. I'm trying to see as quickly as possible. Then I'm trying to go to our forward progress chat as well. I'm like, did the guys talk? It was an experience that I don't want to go through again.
Box scoring is just like a minor step below. People are going to hate me. Watching Red Zone.
No.
Okay.
I mean, as someone who does, but as
I
someone who does
call
watch
me a
Red
snob,
Zone,
call
and
me
I
a
hate
snob,
it.
but just staring at all the games and seeing the down and distances flash.
Yeah.
That's like a step below Red Zone to me.
But Red Zone, you see everything that happened.
You see nothing. Yeah, like 8 minutes after.
No. This is the thing. People grossly exaggerate.
Like
this.
2 minutes. I don't know. It's not good enough.
It's
is
not
what
real,
it is, but it's
not
like-
real time because there's so many things that can happen and they're cutting clips.
Yeah,
but
whatever,
like
snob.
8 minutes afterwards is not real. It's not real. Doesn't happen like that. Maybe
And
8 minutes
then-
afterwards, the game's 41-0, and it's like a meaningless touchdown.
Can I be on? And then yesterday there were so few games. Afternoon, I'm going out. Kids were doing family friends Christmas tree. Great time.
Yeah.
I'm then stuck watching Red Zone.
Yeah.
And it's like overcommitted to like the Chiefs Broncos in like neutral territory.
Yeah.
Not playing Red Zone plays. And it's like if I want to watch Chiefs Broncos, I'll watch Chiefs Broncos.
Yeah.
So my limited experience with Red Zone, I'd rather like just be flipping back between like the 3 games I need to see.
This year was the first time in a long time, and I can't even believe I was influenced by Jason of all people. But he's like, you just gotta do the games itself. So I went to a 4-screen setup for a few weeks where I was watching 4 games, and very quickly abandoned that and went back to Red Zone. And I even still have other games on the other screens. I can tell you, I barely ever.
And
watch
you
them.
won't, because like you're probably watching box scores and Red Zone.
I don't even have my phone on me until like the witching hour.
You're
I guess.
just watching Red Zone?
My routine is I bet right till 1 o'clock. I smoke a joint. I go to my guest house by myself.
We're Red Zone only.
Red Zone only. 2 TVs with other games. I can tell you the amount of times that I look at the other games is almost nothing. I don't know.
Choose your own adventure.
Exactly. There's people who stand by the other form, which is just watch the games, put the games on. I get it. If that's for you, I love the Red Zone experience. I always have. I think it's solid.
I have Red Zone on, but I actually agree with Geoff. I don't think it's a very good, it's a good product for casually watching, but I typically have Red Zone on because I'm watching with friends, but I'll have a game just on my laptop that I care about, and I'll watch the 1 or 2 games, and I'll flip between those that I actually want to watch.
Well, if you did watch Red Zone, you might be thinking, it didn't look like Shadeur Sanders played that well. If you actually watched the Cleveland Browns-Baltimore Ravens game, you would know that it was actually worse than your initial thought because it was a very, very poor performance in his NFL debut for Shadeur Sanders. Disclaimer, he may not have had many reps with the first unit, so maybe that played into it, but he went 4 of 16 in his NFL debut. Lupus tweeted, "Tough day for Shadeur Sanders doesn't suck ass crowd," because people were really jumping through hoops to try and make it seem like it wasn't Shadeur's fault. But it did truly feel like he was awful. Straight Shooter Sports tweeted, "Shadeur Sanders debuts in the NFL only to throw an interception. You can't make this up, Cleveland Browns." And it was a pretty horrendous interception where it was just nowhere near his receiver. And then another one added, Kieran L. says, "Y'all just hate Shadeur," in quotes. But the official NFL Twitter just posted a every play package for a 4 of 16 for 49 yards and an interception. It's actually embarrassing at this point. And one of the people who was jumping through those hoops to try and defend it was Josina Anderson, who does NFL coverage, and said, "Here was the against all odds third down and 10 completion by Shadeur Sanders under 2 minutes. Shadeur had loads of time in the pocket and had a wide open receiver for this against all odds completion." And I think the most amount of people on Twitter are now coming to the conclusion that Shadeur probably isn't very good. If he was, he would probably just be starting over Dylan Gabriel, who also isn't very good. But there's still people out there trying to make something, even of a performance as bad as this. Rob, what were your takeaways from it? I know you watched this one back.
Yeah, forget about the player. And obviously, Shadeur Sanders comes with like a lot of buzz, let's say, because he fell in the draft. And, there's a lot of reasons that people might think that he should be playing over Dylan Gabriel or whatever. But there's this referendum on like motives. Basically, every single time something happens with Shadeur Sanders. And if it was any quarterback who went 4 of 16 with an interception and looked as terrible as he did yesterday, that's the conversation. But because it's Shadeur Sanders, it's not the conversation. And, I hate to even say this, but I think that there's some like race baiting that goes on with a lot of this stuff. I hate to bring that into the equation, but I think it is part of the equation, sadly, and I wouldn't like it to be. Josina Anderson is a meme at this point. Like she's worse than the Jeff Fienberg meme from the World Series. Like, doesn't matter what Shadeur Sanders does. He can do no wrong. There's always an excuse. Yeah, he didn't get first team reps. He still fucking stunk in the game. We can't deny that he was terrible in this game. We can't deny that. There's so many sources from around the league talking about why his draft stock fell, right? And it wasn't just athletic ability. It was also like teams showing up to watch this guy practice. He's not even practicing. And not only not practicing, he's disrupting practice. Like all this stuff is coming out, yet over and over, especially Josina Anderson, she wants to just she believes there's some sort of hidden agenda by everyone. There's not. We all watched him play. He sucked. It's fair for us to say that he sucked. And then for her to post this, the 3rd and 10 completion. I mean, it was against all odds because this guy, he couldn't complete a forward pass. That's why it was against all odds. Not because it was 3rd and 10. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, so we've talked about this a bunch. And in general in life, you don't want to just always appeal to authority. If you want to have a hot take that, let's say, Caleb Williams went 1, but you thought, Drake May would be better. You thought J.J. McCarthy would be better. That's in the realm, That's a player who went 1st overall, a player went 3rd overall, a player who went 8th overall. If a player went in the 5th round in the NFL at the most important position in sports, every team passed on him many times, then that team lost their starting quarterback, has a terrible second quarterback, Dylan Gabriel is horrible, won't play him, again, at the most important position in all of sports, they have him in the building, they're watching him practice, they know to some degree, at some point, you have to come back to reality and realize, there is a reason for this that isn't some grand scale conspiracy. It's actually, he's not very good. And then he came into the game and he was probably even worse than most 5th round rookies would be. But 5th round rookies are really bad.
Yeah.
And he's really bad. It's not, it's not some crazy conspiracy. But people in the NFL, there are players who do really bad things. But if they're really good at football, they get a chance. The difference between Shadeur hasn't done anything that bad. He's just probably annoying and a bit of a nuisance. But you can be annoying and a nuisance if you're good. Yeah. But clearly he's not. And people just need to come back to reality and realize that at some point you're not onto something that all 32 NFL teams that are billion-dollar organizations who literally only care about winning and care so much about getting a good quarterback don't know. It just be somewhat realistic.
Geoff, I want to get your thoughts in 1 second, but the last point that Kirk hit on here, to me, is the most crucial one, which is Cleveland spent a draft pick on this guy. They don't want to see him fail. They're not spending a 5th round pick, draft capital. Granted, it's a 5th round pick. It's not super high, but they're not spending that to intentionally tank someone's career. This is not happening in the NFL. It's such a competitive league. It's just not. So they see him practice every week. They know what they have. They've put him on the depth chart accordingly. And we've now seen why he's on the spot on the depth chart where he is. Because he came into the game and frankly didn't look remotely close to the level of being NFL caliber.
All right. We could move on. We could. It's sometimes weird, though, to think that someone who had like a pretty prominent role at ESPN with league connections doesn't, like, my mom knows how the league works better than her.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe, it's just from my own brain. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But like something is up there.
Yeah.
Like something is up. Either like Dion's loaned her some money or, something else, something. But something is up here because she's willing to like burn her own reputation.
100%.
And there's like been a time, Rob, like she's broken like big NFL stories.
Yeah.
Might have been a few years ago, but like she had a run of being like a pretty reputable. I wouldn't say she was like a chef, like a newsbreaker, but when she had like a story, it was usually a pretty fucking big one.
Yeah.
So which leads me to believe like something is not kosher here at all.
I don't know. I kind of think she's right. Like, if you really think about it, the odds that Shadeur Sanders was born is like 1 in billions. And then to find himself on that play on a 3rd and 10 completion truly is against
all odds. I mean, it is against all odds that someone's making it to the NFL, let alone playing a game.
Her opinion of this situation is more in line with like the women on The View, who just like assume like no football from afar. Here's this guy, football dad pedigree, top like college player. Why isn't he playing? Like I could see why like that sort of can create a conversation about it. But someone who actually knows the freaking league works, get out of here.
So I think this one in particular, she had like a dozen tweets about Shadeur Sanders while he was playing
It's
yesterday.
like she's his boyfriend or his mom.
But I'm looking at some of them, and they're getting quote tweeted and engaged with so much. Some of these have like 4 million views on Twitter with tons of replies. And it's impossible we live in like a different era nowadays where it actually just could be engagement farming to the max.
That makes perfect sense.
It could be, or she's just Zilbert and is committed to the bit as committed to the bit gets. Or maybe somewhere in between.
Yeah.
It's true. But Zilbert can't even engagement farm properly. There's a big difference.
I mean, he has a talent.
He does have a talent to like really agitate people who don't even get agitated usually.
No, but he also has a talent, Rob. It's one thing when he tweets me, you, Kirk, other people in like the Twitter like following neighborhood of like we have the same amount of followers where someone's gonna tweet me, I'm gonna probably see it. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, unless I really am ignoring the app. I don't have enough followers where I'm not going to see if someone's really trying to interact with me. He is able to get people with like over hundreds of thousands of followers. He's so annoying. He can break through people who are like, it's even hard for them to keep up with their mentions. And he can break through that.
Like, I think of Zilbert. I think of what's going on with like Joe A. NFL nowadays, getting into it with like Chad Ochocinco and Adam Troutman today. Like these guys, it's people that are, as evidence, more and more evidence comes in, that refuse to like change their opinions. The people who are rooted in their own reality, there's no reasoning with them, and they generate a lot of engagement because they will never, ever, ever backtrack on any opinion, no matter how much evidence comes in to the contrary. And I will say, with guys like Zilbert, that Joe A guy, even Josina to a point, I don't even know that it's actually like, I mentioned the possibility of engagement farming, but I think these people truly believe it. And they're just so dug in that there's like this inability to be like, I'm wrong, or like new evidence. There's people, they just can't do that.
The rudest thing we've said about her is lumping her in with Joe A. and Zilbert.
She deserves that. For this, she deserves that.
This campaign, this whole Shadeur Sanders campaign for her is very unusual. Very unusual.
To your point, she's made herself like ground zero. Yeah. Where like next time he plays or there's like any breaking news, it's like you almost go out of your way to see what she is saying about it.
Well, I think yesterday that would have been a prime let's just say I was in the camp of Shadeur Sanders should be a starting NFL quarterback. he's been buried for no reason. And then I saw the performance yesterday. That would have been a great opportunity to tweet, I was wrong. I've watched him play. He's nowhere near ready. I still think he has some talent, and maybe in the long run he can turn into something, but this was a terrible performance. Instead, she dug in with like a dozen tweets in a row, highlighting a 3rd and 10 completion in a game where he went 4 of 16 with a horrendous interception and played horribly on top of it. It's the refusal to give up or admit defeat or admit you were wrong that does these people in. And you come off looking like a huge clown. And if you want to be remembered as a huge clown and that floats your boat, sure, go for it. I wouldn't want to be remembered as a huge clown.
In closing, you don't even need a stat line. Like, there could be a quarterback who you like does that, what he did yesterday, but there's like just more pocket awareness.
Yeah.
There's just more like he will stand there, he'll deliver, he won't backpedal instantly. He'll find something quick because he knows the pressure's coming. First start, off the bench, versus the Ravens, like apologist. There's so many things that you can like just free pass it for.
Yeah.
But it was just the sheer like lack of any command or presence. That is obviously why it's a disaster.
Yep.
Right. We can move into our next topic on the show, which is in the prediction market space. And our sponsors, Kalshi, had some exciting news that was revealed recently, which was they're working now together with Prize Picks. You can trade prediction markets on Prize Picks. Sports, movies, music, politics, economics, and so much more are now live. All event contracts listed on Prize Picks are Kalshi markets. So you're able now to use the Prize Picks app to just place your predictions on Kalshi markets. You'll still have access to Prize Picks as normal now with the addition of prediction markets expanding within it. Do we feel like this is kind of where prediction markets are heading, Rob? Did this just add to the expansion? What were your thoughts on it?
Well, in the exact same way that like Robinhood distributes stock orders to exchanges, this is inevitable. It was just going to happen in this space as it stands right now. I think, honestly, Kalshi, sponsor of the show, we all obviously always try to speak openly about every single topic on here, or else we lose the authenticity. This is just kind of like a win for everyone, I would say. If you are already betting on Kalshi and you're looking for more like recreational liquidity into the market, you get it through users from Prize Picks. So anyone who's like a sharp and wants liquidity added to the pool, that's going to happen. If you're a Prize Picks user, technically you can now predict on these markets in addition to whatever over-unders you were playing additionally on Prize Picks. It gives you another option. It was just like the next natural evolution in the space. I mean, Kalshi's trying to build liquidity by any means necessary. They're going to partner with other brands. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
We're at this like phase in the ecosystem where it's like a party in 7th grade and everyone is just like,
yeah,
it's time to like dance with a girl.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like finding like a partner to like do a little toe tapping with. Yeah. This one feel like, yes, it's obvious synergy.
It's a distribution deal is all it is.
And it feels less gross than the Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Like part of it.
Agreed.
Where like my securities or my savings are attached to betting.
Prize Picks and Kalshi are much more parallel than Kalshi and Robin Hood.
And it just has like a, like you didn't like throw up a little in your mouth when you see like, oh, that's going to be on the same page as that, or I can just easily take from that. Like you just know not everyone is going to be able to resist the sure thing bet that the blue horseshoe that explodes.
Can't use those words. It might trigger me into this is no Fez November. I don't want to hear anything about blue horseshoe here. Yeah, for those who don't really understand how it works, like the TLDR basically is that Kalshi is still the exchange and Prize Picks is essentially a storefront. That's like the easiest way I could describe it. It happens already in the financial sector. It was only inevitable that it would happen in the prediction market sector nowadays. And honestly, it makes a ton of sense for both of them.
If you want to get involved with Kalshi, you can do so with the QR code that is on screen now or the links in the description throughout the show. great people to support, great product to get involved with, and you can support the show at the exact same time. Now we can keep it moving on this show today. We want to talk next about the NFL MVP market and whether or not, quote unquote, nerds have ruined it. Before we do, if you're enjoying the show so far, please make sure you've hit the like button. It does make a huge difference to us in the YouTube algorithm or the Twitter algorithm, now where we're also streaming. And if you're enjoying this show on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed. Take a second to rate and review 5 stars if you're listening in podcast form as well. So Raheem Palmer, once again, being featured on the show today. He quote tweeted this tweet from Aaron Schatz, who said, "I can't believe how many people follow me on Twitter and don't understand the 5 biggest reasons Jonathan Taylor is not the MVP." Then lists out the Colts offensive line, which he's attributing the credit to Jonathan Taylor's great season to. He says, "So much of a running back performance is blocking and scheme, not the back." Raheem Palmer said, "Love Aaron Schatz, but nerds have ruined the MVP market, or the MVP award, excuse me. The NFL seriously needs to rebrand this award." Brandon Kravitz replied, "Could not agree more. People get so hung up on the word value. We're supposed to reward the most outstanding performance of the season." Now, for me, it's called the MVP, which stands for most valuable player. So when people get hung up on the word value, it might be because it's the root word of one of the 3 words of the actual award. It's not the most outstanding performance award. It's the most valuable player award. But I wanted to get your thoughts, first of all, Geoff, on this one. Do you think that it's become too nerdy? Are we using too much data analysis? Are we not just watching and getting the good vibe off the player? What is it for you?
I was kind of hoping to go last here.
We can come back to you.
Kirk's
But
right.
I'll just credit out the CFL, who I believe does most
outstanding
outstanding
player.
That was exactly going to be my
Bingo.
point. Other leagues have the most outstanding player award.
It's the same thing, though, right?
This is not.
Yes
Is
and
it?
no. If it's the most outstanding, I would agree. I think Jonathan Taylor would have a much better case. If you want to reward the player who's having the most outstanding season, I think that's very different.
Isn't that like
than the most
offensive player of the year?
Yeah, offensive player of the year basically like removes position from the equation, right? It's like which skill position player is having the best season, irrespective of like
The value they provide to the
for
team.
Right? Listen, I'm a nerd, so I'm naturally going to resonate with the opinion of Aaron Schatz here. Now, this tweet's from 2021. Ryan Kelly's on the Vikings now. It's not the same O-line, but it's an old tweet that he pulled out of nowhere.
I'm thinking it got recycled for the reason Jonathan Taylor is once again having another great season.
But Jacob's point stands. The award is called the most valuable player. And whether you like it or not, the quarterback position in the modern day NFL is the most valuable position. You take Jonathan Taylor away from the Colts right now, or Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is not a great quarterback. He's not even a good quarterback, but he means more to the team because he touches the ball on every single snap. And I know it sucks that the MVP award has turned into a quarterback's award, but that's how we measure value nowadays. You know, like
That's what the league's turned into, though. It's turned into a quarterback league.
I agree.
No, but also it makes sense that the most valuable position in sports is going to win the most valuable player in its league pretty much all the time. The only thing I really would agree with, and it's not exactly what Raheem and Brandon are saying, but I do have a bit of a problem with this in all leagues. I feel like the analytics nerds get what they get wrong in MVP or really any awards discussion is like luck. Like, let's say Josh Allen this year had a 20%, obviously that's an insanely high number, like dangerous throw percentage,
Sure.
where he's gotten 10 interceptions dropped.
Yeah.
Turnover-worthy
plays. And let's say he's getting insanely lucky.
Yeah.
That should not factor into most valuable player. Because if you're getting lucky, sure, maybe you should change that into where you think he'll perform in the future. But if he's gotten lucky, that is what happened. If a player in baseball has a 500 BABIP and is running insanely hot, that shouldn't be a negative factor. Just because you're getting lucky doesn't have any effect on what's actually happened. That's where I think nerds get stuff wrong. But like to say we get so hung up on the word value, that's what the award is. So you should be hung up on it.
It's a great point you make, because this is a backwards-looking award.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be forwards-looking.
Yes.
You shouldn't be saying, well, this guy can't win the MVP this year because of, he fumbled 9 times and he recovered every single one of them. If
Doesn't
5
matter.
of those went the other way, he's not in the conversation. Well, they didn't go the other way. So I can agree with that. But I will say there's also like, to say like all the nerds always see it the same way, I think is also a bit of a cop-out, because nerds use advanced metrics, right? EPA, success rate to evaluate quarterbacks. I would have been one arguing a few years ago that despite the fact that Brock Purdy leads the league in EPA, he's nowhere near the most valuable player. A lot of that has to do with scheme as well. So that's kind of where I would push back on the Schatz tweet a little bit, is like, yeah, a running back's performance is blocking in scheme. A lot of quarterback performance is blocking in scheme as well. It doesn't just apply to the running back position. So from that perspective, I get it. But as long as the award, Geoff, is named the most valuable player award, give it to the person who is the most valuable to their team.
Yeah, I agree. I also feel like some of these smartest nerds nowadays come with bets in their pocket, and they're really pushing an agenda. And they're trying to, like, they might not have a vote, but they see who like follows them, and they're just like trying to push that narrative. But I would, like Rob, when we were growing up, and funny enough, on this conversation, I was watching Ethan Strauss have address this a bit, where when we were growing up, just awards in general, it was to win an awards, it was like narrative, traditional stats, eyeballs. That's how the awards were. And then like the nerds overtook everything. Where like eyeballs didn't matter, narrative didn't matter, although it still does because there's humans.
Sure.
But it was like advanced stats. Traditional stats got thrown out the window. Shit like, I'm not insulting it, like in the basketball, like VORP. I don't even know what it means, but like I'll watch stuff, people talk about awards, and it comes up all the time. And then you realize like something just seems really weird about what's even happening today when you realize that like Jordan and LeBron never won unanimous MVPs. But Shohei Ohtani has already won 4 unanimous MVPs. Now, I love baseball, but I don't know to break each one down and who shouldn't or shouldn't have. And, even to the point of addressing like some of these voters, like it's just groupthink and fear, because who wants to come out and say that they don't agree with something? They'll just get chastised. There was that NL pitcher Sanchez had a higher WAR than Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens still won Cy Young. I'm not debating that he wasn't worthy. He seems incredible. But like if someone even said, no, I like this guy, it would have been like that guy would have been in for hell. So I said a lot there, but I'm just truly fascinated about how these awards, well, maybe they haven't changed at all, but just all of it.
I agree with some and disagree with some. So I would say that I totally agree that like the groupthink on awards is clearly become like unanimous. It's become more unanimous who people are voting for. But I don't think that's like nerddom. I think that's much more that when someone puts out a really dumb like award vote, now they get flamed on Twitter for it, which didn't used to happen. And also like I definitely think like analytics has played a huge role in awards, but I think narrative's still huge. Like Allen won over Lamar last year. I think if it was a nerd's pick, Lamar definitely would have won. That was very much a narrative
we
MVP.
did the NFL thing last week where it's like Stafford, the narrative around Stafford, if he like holds the line with May, it's going to be hard for May to beat just because narrative.
1 week later, though, those May yeses are looking good. I'll tell you that.
Stafford steamed hard yesterday after the win. Even 130
he played,
he fucking sucked yesterday.
He had his 70s.
No, but he steamed to the favorite.
In his career of Rams 74 starts, apparently it was his 72nd worst start in his career as a Ram.
So
but they got
worst,
the win, and it's all that matters. If they match May in wins, I don't think he's going to be able to be beaten.
We'll see. I mean, so much of it is, but again, like I say this now, which is completely contrary to like the nerds, so much of it is going to be like the performance at the end of the season. If it was all nerds voting on this stuff, that wouldn't even really factor into the equation, how you finish the season. They would look at the season as a whole. So I disagree that it's like a nerds award nowadays. But, I mean, listen, he's entitled to his opinions. This bothers a lot of people.
I actually think we're bending back away from like the strictly advanced stats like bubble that I feel like we might have been in for a couple of years. I feel like we're bending back to like not traditional stats, but more just like traditional narratives.
Maybe. I don't think that there's one set rule. I've been laughing through. I laugh all the time when I see like these head-to-heads that are posted on Twitter. It happens in baseball a lot. Happened this year with Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh, where they just take all the surface level stats and they post them side by side, like hits, home runs, RBIs, and then like one person is leading in every category, but the other person leads by a mile in WAR, you know, because like fielding matters in baseball as well. Like there's other factors. Where those head-to-heads always make me laugh. It's like, can you like Joe Burrow, Joe Flacco,
There was
numbers with the Bengals, and it's like, is there really a difference between these quarterbacks?
There was
like,
Bo Nix versus Mahomes, like first 25 starts or something last week, and it's just
so funny.
In the NBA, it'll be like Keontae George versus like Dwayne
Yeah.
Wade stats, and it's like, yeah, okay, there's 30 more points a game in the NBA per game
so
now. Like,
funny, man.
just devoid of all context.
Yep. I mean, you know, Bo Nix, Dan Marino, pretty much the same quarterback.
Might as well
Let's forget about the fact that they used to run the ball a lot more back in the day. There weren't as many passing yards, but
debating awards on Twitter seems like, at least like in the talk show radio days, like whatever segments is easy content.
But I like it though.
Yeah,
I know
I don't mind
it's
it.
low hanging fruit for sure. Like you could easily run Lockie Lockerson, Ken Barkley used to be so good with this on You
Still
Better
is.
You Bet.
Well,
Yeah, but like he used to do the segments with Nick, and this is nothing against Femi. I also like Femi, who's the new co-host there, but he had a way of spending like 2 hours every single week just breaking down every single market, and I believe he ended up just leaving to bet futures full time. I don't know how that's going for him, but he hasn't gone back to work yet, so I would assume it's okay.
I think it's
But
going pretty good.
I actually really like talking awards markets.
Agreed.
You know, like Jason coming here last week up to the door into the window over here, being like, "Oh, you forgot about Sam Darnold MVP." It's like, no, I didn't, man.
That one's over.
I remembered
That
about
one's
it.
over.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah, I agree. I like talking about it, but get out of my face like in week 3.
Yes.
Too, like with, you know, George is like rubbing my shoulders walking in like Herbert MVP. Leave me alone, George.
The thing I love about awards, Mark, like if you're talking tonight, like Cowboys, Raiders, like sure, we could all be like, oh, like, well, like I think Dak matches up well against the Raiders, blah, blah, blah. But like that, you're kind of all, it's just like, well, like the market is like so big, you're just kind of like talking nothing. But if you're doing that with awards markets, even like with friends and stuff, like you can actually uncover some good insights, much more so than if you're talking like spreads, totals.
True. Yep. Agreed.
All right, before we get into our next topic, let's hear what's going on around the Hammer Betting Network today. It's our busiest day of the week. Rob, fill in everyone what's going on.
Yeah, Mondays are great. We just came off the Hammer Daily, which Jason did the one chip challenge, and you know, credit to him. You know, he stuck with his guns. He said he was going to do it. He did it. He's not going to have a good time during the live watch along tonight at 8 p.m. The first number 2 for Jason today is going to be a real problem. So you'll want to tune in tonight on Forward Progress live watch along. Cowboys Raiders 8 p.m. But before that, hit the books. Brad Powers, Joey Knish. If you're into college football, great college football show 5 p.m. Eastern time over on Hit the Books YouTube. I'm back to promoting that show now because Brad is not wearing Dodgers gear anymore, which really hurt me for a while. But yeah, great content here on Mondays. I believe in what we're doing here at the Hammer, and Hit the Books Forward Progress watch along tonight will be solid.
And everything, all the channels we have in the Hammer Betting Network are linked in the description below. Plenty of great stuff for you to check out in the description as well, including all the shows that we have going on today and the rest of the week. Now, I see one of the comments here from Raskin97. This is in the live chat on YouTube. Says, May has played and will play the 3rd easiest schedule of all time. And maybe that does factor in to the MVP discussion, but it maybe is a reason why the Patriots are winning a ton of games. But still, we knew this schedule going into the season, and somebody who was exposed for some negative takes at the start of the season was Dan Lifshatz and Kelly in Vegas. They were featured on Freezing Cold Takes, the very popular Twitter account, which exposes old takes, where there was a first tweet that said no Patriots players were claimed off waivers. So Dan Lifshad said, roster is real bad. People expecting 9, 10, 11 plus wins, going to have a rough year. Kelly in Vegas said, I don't understand all the hype. Then, when she was featured on Freezing Cold Take, she said, congrats on having the easiest schedule in the NFL. My first thought when I saw this tweet was, you knew the schedule when you tweeted this, and someone agreed with me. Charlie at Uruguayan Toffee says the schedule was out there when you tweeted this, and indeed the schedule had been out for 3 months before. So, to me, if the schedule was a factor and you saw how easy it was, maybe you should have thought they would be a little bit better than this. But still, how do we feel about going back on takes like this? Because there were some people who were low on the Patriots, and I don't even know people who were very high on the Patriots could see them being as good as they have been this season.
I think that, I don't know if we have that many through lines of narratives on Circle Back, but if we have one, it's that if you say something dumb, own up to it instead of doubling down. And this is the most classic double down. I tweeted hot takes for the NBA season. A lot of them are going to be spectacularly dumb. I'm not going to just go back and make excuses. Sometimes you're going to have takes that were wrong. That happens to anyone who talks about sports. Congrats on having the easiest schedule in the NFL. What are we talking about? One, they've definitely won some good games. They beat the Bills in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. But also, they can only play who's in front of them. And they're 8-2? It's just such a ridiculous take. You got it wrong. You're going to get a billion things wrong. Just hand up accountability.
When you get called to the carpet, you just wave. You be like the Queen of England. It's me.
Bingo.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. It doesn't matter how it happens. We've seen teams for some reason get 4 straight backup quarterbacks from circumstance and run off a few wins. It's fine. You just own it. That's all. It's that simple. They're the 2 worst people on the internet are people who just can't own it when they do something stupid, and then people that never actually share their own opinions.
Yeah.
They just shit on others. That's really their whole playbook is to shit on others, but their only forward-facing opinion is Mahomes is good or pizza is good.
Right.
So you can't hold them on anything, and all they'll do is take dumps on people.
Yep.
So it's 2 ends of the spectrum. They both suck.
Yeah, I think you guys have summarized it very nicely here. I think one of the most basic rules of the internet is when you are wrong, just accept the L. Take the L. Because honestly, people respect the transparency and the willingness to admit that you are wrong way more than they do you doubling down on a shitty opinion at the end of the day. And I didn't see if Dan Lifshatz responded to that.
He owned it.
He owned it?
He's also...
He's a Patriots
Not to say
fan.
he doesn't get... Yeah, he's just a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Who's just paranoid or negative about how an offseason's going. Not to say he can't have a betting take on his team, but that's just...
Yep.
That is not in the same realm as...
Yep.
What she did. And I think he, hands up, and he's happy because he's a Patriots fan.
I've been old takes exposed before. I then quote tweeted it, kind of laughing it off. I thought that was the way to go about it. At the end of the day, especially, I'm in the betting business, but I'm also in the content business. And in the content business, you are putting out opinions very regularly, to Kirk's point. Am I going to judge Kirk forever because he thought J.J. McCarthy was going to be good? No. Until J.J. McCarthy is
Somebody
good,
else might.
We're going to rib him a little bit, and we're going to be like, you were wrong. But he has had plenty of good takes as well that people are going to forget about over time, right? And that's just the nature of content. When you say something that ends up looking really bad, you just have to own it. You do. And it's as simple as that. And a lot of people are not going to come to your defense when you said something that was really good in the offseason, right? They're not going to find that. We're not going to find the clip of Jason Cooper saying that he thought the Seahawks are a really, really underrated team this year. He said that. In the offseason, I said I thought Daniel Jones is a great fit for the Colts offense. People are laughing at me. But at the end of the day, people are going to find these. This is what the internet is. So you just got to laugh and move on. That's
also,
it.
For the amount of takes that she gives or you give, Rob, in content, the 1% of your wrong takes come back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of time, I'm wrong a lot. And sometimes I'll be wrong and people will be like, haha, you were wrong. If they only did that on everything I was wrong about, like, geez, that'd be a lot. So again, just take it and move on. And she's a veteran of the game. So it's just such, you'd expect more from Kelly.
Yeah.
She's got so many reps.
I know, she's been around for a while.
And I don't mean, like, we've all got reps at being wrong.
Yeah.
Right and wrong.
Yeah.
But she's got way too many reps to, like, old take, expose, like, backpedal.
Argue with that.
You know why I don't laugh? Geoff, at the end of the day, for me, I throw out a lot of opinions on a weekly basis, as we all do, on different subject matter. The beauty of this is we're in the betting space. We get to bet our opinions. And at the end of the day, I do really well off of betting. So you can make fun of me because I went into the year saying, like, I think Detroit is overrated. Guess what? I've bet on Detroit a number of times this year as well. I've played against them. Like, your opinions on these teams evolve as new information comes in. It's totally fine to say that you were wrong. And, whatever. This is a tale as old as time. Someone makes a bad take. There's more information that becomes available. They double down on it instead of just refusing to say, maybe I got something wrong here. Happens every day and will happen every day moving forwards.
Agreed.
Up next, we're going to feature some of our favorite comments from the previous week's show. As a reminder, we always like to do this on every edition of Circle Back. So get in the comments down below. Comment on something you agreed with, you disagreed with, just a thought that you had, anything you want. We always read all of the comments from each edition. While you're down there, please make sure you've hit that like button and make sure as well you are subscribed to our channel. We have Circle Back shows live every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern, pre-recorded every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. We have bonus videos that come out Wednesdays at 1 p.m. as well. First comment comes from TD Coral 085, says Modric winning the Ballon d'Or is the best comp to Matthew Stafford winning MVP at this stage of his career. I don't know how much you guys know soccer, but this felt like a pretty perfect
This guy nailed it.
way to compare the two.
We were trying to find a comp for Stafford at this point in his career. Yeah, Modric would be a really, really good example.
Already well established, already extremely well respected, and then still being able to reach the pinnacle award individually of their sport. So that was a really good one I wanted to feature. Second one, longer one, two long ones in a row. Actually, this one comes from Kyle Kerms, who says, thank you, Geoff, for having common sense. If you've got dozens and dozens of rec accounts to exploit a tiny little market like that and actually make something substantial, then good for you. That's awesome. Now, this is in relation to the conversation we had last week where it was about somebody killing an edge by tweeting about it and showing other people. It was the running back 1+ rushing yard on the first drive, which people were taking advantage of, and then now we're no longer able to take advantage of. And the entire point that Kyle Kerms is making here is that if you're betting into a market like this, you have the understanding already that it's not going to last forever, and at some point it is going to go away, and you won't be able to bet anymore. So you shouldn't be upset when somebody exposes the edge. I'm kind of paraphrasing a lot of this, but that was the gist I got from this comment. Kirk, do you feel the same way with something like this?
Well, I don't even really think that's what Geoff said. Geoff said that it's hard to feel bad for the guys who make money betting, which I actually totally agreed with. But like the point is just it's tweeting that it for clout is bad for everyone, including the person tweeting it. Also, like, again, you think it's a small market, but it's just totally wrong. If this is an edge in every single game, even if the maxes are really low, you can parlay them all, you can round robin them all, even if you just have one fresh FanDuel account. Also, when these things are mispriced, like it's not like a FanDuel trader sees, okay, you bet Tampa Bay -2 and then it closed -4. That's very easy to see, oh, like this person is sharp. They won't realize that the running back first drive is mispriced for a while. These things can last for a long time. Yeah. And if you're round robining them, you can like get a significant amount down. So look, anyone can do what they want. And I agree with Geoff that no one should feel bad for the people making money on sports and like world's smallest violin, sure. But I still just think it's the main point was just don't do that because it's dumb for everyone unless like somehow you're getting like enormous amounts of clout. And again, the person who tweeted it said, hand up, I regret it, I shouldn't have done it.
He actually DM'd me right after the show as well that we covered it, and we've been talking in DMs. Yeah, I mean, I agree with your point. Something that might seem like a small market is actually probably bigger than most people would realize. There was another edge that he was kind of tweeting me about, message to me privately, which has gone away, where he's like, I also had found this at one point. And I was thinking, I'm like, honestly, I think if this was in the right hands, it's probably like $500,000 that could have easily been made off of this one thing, because some of these errors are so egregious. And to Kirk's point, you can hit them for a long time before the sportsbook actually picks up on the pattern of what you're hitting. There's been all sorts of these in the past that have come through me. Inversely correlated, quarter prices in the NFL. First quarter price with the first half price, that doesn't make sense. Like, there's a million of these. At the end of the day, I'm in the same boat. That person does not realize what they have a lot of the times. It's unfair to just like shit on them and be like, oh, you shouldn't have fucking did this. Like, they don't really know in that moment. But I do think a lot of times people do dismiss it as like, well, was going to be found anyways. It's like, yeah, it was, but it still hurts that like that is a very, very big money-making opportunity that went to waste. That's the way that I see it.
Yeah. So piggyback off what Kirk said, all I was really implying was like, I don't think anyone's going to give a fuck about a syndicate losing something.
Nor should they.
That being said, like to compare it to something, I told the story. I was at like the play place with my daughter, and we found like a machine that was just like handing out the tokens for like, to go cash in for huge prizes. And we're like, we're running like a scheme here.
Yeah.
And it only takes like one or two strangers to watch, like to peek in and see something's going on, and then word gets around, and then shit, our whole scheme blows up.
It's true. You got to kind of keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
Plus, there's that, of course, then you'd get the morality police after you as well.
I mean, we're not, taking.
I hear the Friday show talking about court-siding and the morality of that and stuff. Like, you don't want to let people see you do that, Geoff, because people will be on. They question your character after a while.
I'll ask. Sorry, go ahead. Did you have anything else?
No, it's just so the kids get like oversized teddies. It's not like
you're just going to cash it in for and the Dave & Buster's still making money anyway.
I'll ask.
Am I supposed to feel sorry for Dave & Buster's that have to cash in 500,000 tickets to get like a pack of gum? No, I'm not feeling sorry.
I'll ask a question that Kyle Kerms is in the chat asking right now. How many people are realistically betting the under in that market? So his argument is like, how long expecting FanDuel to keep up a market like this if it's taking only one-way liquidity and consistently is losing? Like, how much juice is in this?
Like, again, I don't think there is an under in that market. I think it was like a 1+ market. I think it was a one-way market.
Yeah.
But again, like it's very hard to tell if this is just idiots who are smashing this because they think it's like, oh my God, this is for sure gonna cash. Like, remember those like one field goal in every half markets?
Yes.
Where people would smash, but like that was all rec money, and FanDuel loved that.
Yeah.
So like it is hard to tell. Yeah, they will eventually realize it, but if they keep losing, but like there's a pretty big grace period, especially if you like can hide it in certain ways. So yeah, like it's possible it would have been closed really quickly, but it's possible it could have lasted really long. Like, those things are hard to tell, and tweeting it is clearly not going to help.
I don't know how much like automated reporting there is with these trading teams nowadays. All my experience is in the offshore space, but just off my experience in the offshore space, this would last a really long time because there's no reporting on necessarily like how many bets are coming in on specific like let's say it was just me and Kirk betting that, right? They might have 20 bets on that one specific market. That's not going to trigger anything. And if we're parlaying it and putting it in round robins, we might even be able to keep it going longer than normal. You'd be surprised. I mean, there was like an Entain one recently, which is a MGM Sports Interaction. Maybe Party Bets, I think, is also Entain as well, where there was something that lasted for a really long period of time for the amount that was being, like, the amount of money that was being bet on it. So I don't know that there's like automated triggers in place that would necessarily catch that. I think most of this stuff gets caught because it wins. The accounts win a lot. Then someone does a manual review of the account and they're like, all right, what's this guy winning on? And then either they remove the market completely. They limit you. There's like number of options, but my experience, a lot of these tend to last way longer than people would realize.
All right. Hopefully some good advice there. Last comment comes from TSC9198. Another long comment, but essentially, at least wanting to discuss you last week, Rob, calling Jalen Hurts as a league average quarterback, saying that they'll respectfully disagree. And part of the reason is that he's been 7 to 10 range of MVP odds throughout the season, and the Eagles are 8-2. Last season, when the Eagles were a bit of a juggernaut and ended up going on to win the Super Bowl, last year, the excuse was essentially that he had a really good offensive line and really good receivers. The roster was just stacked. This year, the top two players are trending near their worst statistical seasons in Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown, and their offensive line is significantly worse. So how come Jalen Hurts is not included in the MVP conversation?
I apologize for calling Jalen Hurts league average because he's actually below average. I was actually trying to be nice to Eagles fans. Okay, he's been in the 7 to 10 range odds-wise. That's because the record of the team is good. And naturally, whenever that happens, the quarterback for that team is going to be priced above league average. If the Eagles are going to win this year, which is a possibility that they might, it is not going to be because Jalen Hurts carries the team. It's going to be because the defense carries the team. And we're seeing that on a regular basis. I don't really like arguing with Eagles fans. I think they're kind of delusional when it comes to Hurts. I really do. I'm just going to come out and say that. They really respect him as a player, and that's fine. He's their guy. It's the same the way that Broncos fans, they're taking victory laps after Bo Nix beats Patrick Mahomes yesterday. And it's like, see, Bo Nix. It's like, yeah, these guys are capable of playing a good game. Doesn't mean that they're a good quarterback. Jalen Hurts has been bad this year. Let's just call it out for what it is. He's been bad. A.J. Brown's separation numbers are not all that bad. Jalen Hurts cannot beat a zone defense, and everyone knows that. And they're just playing zone because he will not force a ball into a tight window. He would rather just eat it and take a 2-yard play or throw the ball out of bounds than throw it into tight zone coverage. And the book is out, and he hasn't shown how he can beat it yet. So in my opinion, he's not even average. I'd say he's a below average quarterback. When all is said and done, I fast forward 20 years where I'm going to be fucking Grandpa Rob, and I'm going to be like, unbelievable. Jalen Hurts is going into the Hall of Fame the same way Eli Manning did, where he's going to win a couple Super Bowls, never even be remotely close to a top player at his position, but no one's going to deny him that Hall of Fame because he's going to have the rings. That's where we're going to be with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I don't know if this is an unfortunate thing, but right now in the NFL, like maybe the 4 best teams in the league, like record-wise, the quarterback isn't anywhere near the best player on the roster. Maybe like Drake May probably is, but like
Drake May's the best player on the roster, yeah.
To Jalen Hurts, I don't even know if these would make the podium if we had to rank the most important, the best players on the Eagles roster.
Yeah,
I like Jalen Hurts though.
Who's another average quarterback in the league? Who we consider just like an average guy?
Daniel Jones? I don't know.
Sure, maybe. I don't even know. I think going into the year, we'd say he's definitely below average or something like that.
League average.
Jared Goff?
Yeah, I was thinking Goff, but it feels like he's above.
Yeah, it seems like just like another type, one of those situations. They could win. The Lions have never had really a defense. I don't know. Like, do people watch the games?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, I'm definitely not a quarterback evaluator, but like, if the Eagles go 15-2, it like still feels like watching these games. How could Jalen Hurts win MVP? Like, he doesn't do anything. It's like, watch the game. No one watched the game last night and was like, wow,
like
Jalen
no one's
Hurts,
discrediting the Eagles' record. They are what they are. But like, let's not pretend that if they had a real quarterback, they would be unstoppable with a real quarterback. They'd be unstoppable.
It's actually like the amount of quarterbacks in the league where they would win every game they've won. Yeah. If you just replaced.
Like, they didn't beat the Lions and the Packers in the last 2 weeks because Jalen Hurts. The Lions even figured out the tush push yesterday. They stopped them twice in a row.
They did.
That's like his only conceivable edge that he has.
Jesus.
And listen, the Eagles could win the Super Bowl. They might. I fucking love the Eagles as a team. The only reason I really, really don't love them is because of Jalen Hurts.
All right.
Someone in our Discord yesterday, by the way, compared him to Cam Newton. I almost fucking fell off my chair. I'm like, you guys forget about Cam Newton at the end of his career. Does anyone remember when Cam Newton was in his
he might
fucking
be
carrying the
Cam
team?
Newton might be the most underrated player of an era.
Yeah.
I mean that.
100%.
He fell off fast, and now he's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Fair and the hats, a lot of it,
But prime Cam
I
Newton
know,
was
yeah.
insane.
prime Cam Newton was as good as we've seen.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Except he didn't go on the ground to recover the fumble in
that
the
was
Super Bowl.
that was bad.
That was bad.
That was
But you know what? Like, come on, not even
and
a
he wouldn't
comparison.
even like do post game of at the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
which is so weak.
Well, he did it.
Prime Cam Newton's kind of what people think Michael Vick was.
Yeah, exactly. Cam Newton was so good, man. Cam Newton was so good. Don't ever compare Jalen Hurts to Cam Newton. Please don't do that.
We follow that one up with a tweet from Connor Allen, at Connor Allen NFL, who we've had on our Forward Progress YouTube channel for our Super Bowl player prop extravaganza. And he wanted to make a comment on some brutal bookmaking from Caesars Sports, saying that Caesars voided the under longest field goal in the Giants-Packers game today because there were no field goals attempted in the game. He said, I asked why, and they said it's because no field goals were attempted. Yet no action on no field goals attempted is not listed in the house rules when you finalize the bet, in your bet slip, or in the market. They reached out to explain why, and when I asked where I could find the rules, they said not all rules are available. They claim they have too many prop bets to list all the rules. Completely invalid argument. If you post a market, rules for that market should be available somewhere, plain and simple. Other books graded as a win as well. Not even a significant amount of money for me, but a ton of subs, tail, and don't think this is right. Then followed that one up with his withdrawal request being declined by Caesars, and his suspicion is that Caesars was not happy about that initial tweet. Rob, I don't know if you have experiences consulting for sportsbooks or anything, but how would you feel about some of this? Are Caesars in the wrong for this?
So I want to preface this whole topic by saying I'm a big Connor Allen guy. I always have been. He's come on Forward Progress before. He's sharp. I respect everything he does. If we go back to the first tweet here, Jacob, when he bet these, it was the longest made field goal, which is very, very specific on the bet slip. Longest made field goal. There were no field goals attempted in the game. In my experience, and I've only bet this on PPH before, which, listen, you can't take their grading seriously, but I would expect that to be a void. I would expect what the bet slip that Connor Allen showed to be voided. With that said, to not have it in the house rules because you have too many prop bets to list all the rules, it's basically like saying, like, trust me, bro, type of situation. Like, no, we don't. You're a sports book. Put it in the fucking house rules. It should be that clear. So, in my opinion, they've correctly voided the wager in question. It should be in the house rules. And then to the final thing, this drives me crazy about bettors. Acting like you can publicly berate a sports book and then that there's not going to be consequences for doing that. I tell this to Hitman all the time. He does this all the time with it. Like, what are you accomplishing by putting these guys on blast? Like, now thousands of people are seeing this tweet. Caesars is seeing this tweet because they're tagged in it. They're like, what the fuck is this guy doing, tweeting this publicly? They're going to retaliate. It's going to happen. Whether right or wrong, I'm not here to... I know this is going to be coming off like I'm taking the Kirk side of things here as the sportsbook sim. But from my perspective, the bet should have been voided. And once you tee off on the book, if I was working in that book, you know what my natural response would be when I think that we have correctly voided the bet and this guy's putting us on blast? I'm going to say, fuck you to this guy. And I'm going to, you know what? Decline your withdrawal? Sure. Go post it. You know, that's my 2 cents on it.
So I actually was going to agree with Connor about the bet, but I don't see him clearly stating that it says longest made field goal.
I actually didn't include the original quote tweet.
It said longest made field goal?
There
I'll
is a
double
bet
check
slip.
now.
There's an actual.
So if it says
Yeah.
longest made field goal, then yeah, it should be
I didn't
void.
clue in
What's
to,
funny is I was
to that
going to agree with
language there.
Connor,
That's
but
my
I never
bad.
saw that.
Yeah, me neither.
So now you've sort of swayed me
but
a
I
little.
totally disagree with you about
Yeah.
if he tweets, then Caesars should be vindictive. They're $1 billion organization. They shouldn't be combing
I'm
through
not
Twitter
saying
to shit on
what they
Connor Allen.
what they should be and what reality is are not the same thing.
Okay.
Doesn't.
However, as much as like we can be on this stance because it's made field goal, we don't know what happened when he talked to customer service or anything. But if they genuinely said they have too many prop bets to list all the
that's
rules,
egregious.
that is a big problem
100%.
still.
It's a
and,
joke.
And they should have communicated that it's made field goal and there was no made field goal. If it was, like you said, a different market, then it would have a different outcome. So there's two sides to it still.
Guys, do you know how many times I have back-channeled something to a book and then gotten the resolution? You do not have to take any time. This happens all the
Not
time.
everyone is you with like a back channel connection to a book. And some people, even if they're wrong,
Yep.
it is just their prerogative. It is all they have. It's like getting bullied by the fucking airline.
Sure.
It's like getting, right? Like I have nowhere else. I'm just going to vent on Twitter that my bag's been fucking lost by these nimwits. And like maybe they're not fully responsible because someone screwed something up out of their hands.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you want to Kirk's point, like berate a $1 billion corporation online, all the power to you.
Yeah.
Do you think Fats is banned from going into McDonald's anymore?
No, but
he berated them for months.
Sure, but
And
I'm certain before I've probably bashed a company on. Like I would be 100% sure
And
that
you're
I've
not
had a triggering experience where I've bashed a company publicly before. All I'm saying is you have to understand the consequences of doing so. Because from Caesar's perspective, they don't think they've done anything wrong here. And in my opinion, from a grading perspective, I don't think that they have either. So they're trying to resolve this via some sort of customer service, and the guy puts them on blast. And I think it's a natural response that they're going to be, fuck you.
you're out of here, pal. Yeah,
Like-
no, take your business.
So
shove it up your arse. I
Everyone
guess.
can do what they want. I'm not saying you can't tweet. I'm just saying understand the
Agreed.
consequences of that.
And Kirk is allowed to point out, I think it's really fucking petty when like a huge international corporation blocks someone because like they vented in a tweet.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty petty. Now, the worst thing in here is to Jacob's point and your point, like they're running it like your Nona would run a garage sale. Like, I don't know what's here.
That is a joke.
You bring it up, like, let me see what's here. What? Like, no, I'm not saying, like, right? Like a garage sale, we don't have barcodes, so just figure it out when you approach me with it. That is the most alarming part of this interaction. Like, beyond caring if Connor's right or the book is right, the fact that they don't even know what's up in the store.
Yeah, and listen, I'm not saying that this happened. This is purely speculation, what I'm about to say. But likely what has happened here is that they probably reviewed it. And if it was just Connor who bet it, they probably would have just reversed it to keep him happy. But the final sentence here is not even a significant amount of money for me, but had a ton of subs tail and don't think this is right. They probably reviewed it. They probably made a business decision that said, we're not going to reverse this because there's a lot of money at stake on this prop. And ultimately, I think if Connor were to fight this, which you can in different states or provinces, you can take it to a board. I don't think he would win in this specific instance, but
Has he shown the wording of like the bet slips on the ones that were graded that paid him out versus the
there
ones
was another
that weren't?
sportsbook that did pay out on this with the same verbiage.
But I'm also going back and forth because longest made field goal under, let's say, 40 and a half, like it still was under. The longest made field goal was 0.
No, it's when there's no attempt, it's like it's not defined.
So is this a bad
I don't
bet
know.
if
I don't
that's
know.
not priced
I'll
in?
tell you, I would.
Because he makes that bet with like no field goals in his range of outcomes, and assuming that's priced into the price.
It's possible. No field goals, obviously. But in a way,
he is
possible.
100% right in challenging the fact that there's not a house rule. For Caesars to say they claim that they have too many prop bets to list all the rules.
That's crazy.
That if that happened is inexcusable. It's nuts. He is 100% in the right to challenge them on that. He also is in the right to post about it if he wants to. All I'm saying is that there are consequences. Every time I've seen this happen, there's been some sort of retaliation from the sportsbook.
So I would say the morning after, he's 100% in the right for the tweet. Now, he might be wrong, and he might be upset that he's wrong, but fuck Caesars if they're upset that he brought to light that someone working for them on the back end said to him, I don't know what's here.
Yeah.
So that is like, sure, be mad that he is aggrieved about the bet.
Yeah.
They blocked him because he pointed out something very embarrassing to them.
They declined his withdrawal.
Far more embarrassing than not grading that a winner. And you know what? I can have a conversation with the customer service, realize the original thing I showed up in the room for, I'm actually wrong about, acknowledge that, but still hold them to task for an incident within that communication that polarizes how, I don't want to use that word, how insane this is.
Also, like, what does too many prop bets to list all the rules even mean? Like, you would just post a PDF. If it's 1,000 pages, who cares? What is it, like AWS storage? That's the problem?
Yeah.
Like, you're just going to Command F field goal.
Yeah.
Like, what would the problem be that it's too long of a document?
I don't know. And then there's like confusion with other props. So again, I'm just saying from my experience, I've bet this prop before in games that have had 0 field goals and it's been voided every time. That's my experience. I've never really bothered to fight them or whatever. But there are other markets where like longest reception of a game.
Yeah, that can
Guy
swing
has no
huge.
what if
it's
guy has no catches, right?
But if no one has a catch.
But if no catches, if you have longest reception on a player and he has 0 catches, most books will grade that as a win.
A longest reception under. You're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
That's what I mean. But
that's the same exact. So why is the longest field goal different?
Because in most books, because that market is bet more, there's explicit rules that state that.
But no explicit rules.
I know.
But your prop, the receiver prop, has a name attached to it. There's not like a specific kicker.
But it's the same idea, right? Longest reception.
I agree with you.
So I don't see
if
why
I was
one-
running a book, I'll tell you plain and simple, for every single prop that we offered, there would be like a little info button right next to everything, and it would explain them. It can't be that fucking hard to do. To have someone just put rules on this, and then something comes up that's outside of the rules, and you say, I'm sorry, we didn't have the rules. If it was me, unless it's a massive liability, I probably would pay it out because I would rather these people continue betting with me than all withdraw at once. That's how I would run it, and then I would make a rule for it going forward. It's like, this is how the process should be. It's just not there. It sucks. I've been in situations like it before. And again, I'm not calling out Connor for necessarily tweeting it. You're free to do whatever you want, but you have to know that there's a repercussion coming with it. And nowadays, I've seen it happen way too often. This is not the first or last time, but tough one. And I don't want to. I'm like an in-between on this one.
All right, we're at a short break here while we talk about the newsletter we have at The Hammer. Back over to you, Rob.
Yeah, we are running a 3-time-a-week newsletter right now. Link is down in the description below. If you're a football bettor, you're definitely going to want to be signed up. We save you a lot of the work over the course of the week in looking through injury reports and things of that nature, but we're slowly adding more and more on a weekly basis. Alex Moretto is now writing a Monday NHL column with his opinions. It's actually a really good read. I hate to give certain people credit around here, but it is a really good read. Kirk every single week on Fridays as well. Check it out. Again, I don't even need to really plug this because every time I bring it up, somebody in the chat says like, I read it and it's solid. So give it a shot. I mean, open rates keep going up and up. People are reading through it. That's the most compelling evidence right there.
All right, we can get into the final main topic on the show today, which is on John Levy, is that it? Sorry. John Levy didn't mince any words when talking about Penn Entertainment and its foray into the business of digital gaming. The founder of At The Score and The Score Bet returned to the pod to discuss it, and this is from @Gaming News Canada. And the first reply from Geoff Zakotny, if I said that correctly, says, "This is the post-mortem of ESPN Bet that I was dying to hear, and it delivers. Laughed out loud in the car at the suggestion that Levy would be willing to pay twice as much to buy the Score Bet back as Dave Portnoy paid to buy Barstool back, which would be $2. Geoff, Rob, do you have experiences with Levy in your time with the Score?
Yeah, so listen, I've always known John as John Levy, as you did as well. Some people call him Levy behind the scenes, so I'm going to go with Levy because that's what I've used.
It's Levy.
Forever, yeah.
Okay.
I actually ran into John Levy at Game 7 of the World Series with his oldest son, Benji, who I used to work for. We chatted for quite a bit, and this was kind of like a topic of conversation, a small one. What I always loved about John, I loved working for the Score. It was my favorite company to work for. The culture, everything about it, I loved. Starting in radio, eventually moving over to digital. John, as the CEO, would always kind of sit at least in our new offices that we moved to eventually, in the middle of everything, made himself very accessible to every single person, would talk to people. I thought this was an excellent podcast. Steve McAllister was the one who ran it. It's about 45 minutes. John has a lot of insights on the industry, and I think he's very educated and well-versed in it. The only thing I will say about this entire situation is when you exit your company for $2 billion, which is what John sold the Score to Penn Gaming for, once you've exited your company, they unfortunately are free to do whatever they want with the company. They have paid to do whatever they want. And in this podcast, John says like they weren't really consulted on a lot of the decisions moving forward, or they weren't listened to. And nobody has to do that, unfortunately, right? I was part of the Score when we acquired a DFS company, a San Francisco-based company called Swooped. And their management team came to our offices for multiple weeks. And rather than like iterating on their existing product, we just decided to rebuild it and basically ignore all the advice that their original management team gave, because we purchased it as a business, and that affords us the ability to do what we want. Now, that's not to say he can't have an opinion, because he absolutely can have an opinion, and Penn ran like this into the ground completely. But once you exit and you sell, you've now, it's no longer yours. And anything that comes after the fact is beyond your control. And there's no reason you should really sweat about it. It's like my wife drives by my old house.
I'm sure you had a lot of Penn
It's
stock
like,
now.
yeah,
Sure.
It's his like baby, and just seeing anything with that name on it, it'd be the same way. Like the same way like Cuban has to like talk about the current state of the Mavericks.
Oh, I get
right?
it.
And the trades that they made. It's like, right? People kind of reach out to him for it. I think I like John. John's a revolutionary. Like really, like he saw it before it happened. So I give him all the credit to him. And I don't know, he gave me my job at the Score because back in Hamilton, he liked my 3 aunts.
That was really, I didn't know how you were hired before me, I think.
Yeah.
Around the same, I was interning.
Well,
when
he
you were
just
at-
like sent me to HR, and then Sally could have put me in archives.
Yeah.
Or I got put in radio. Where it was like a fucking playpen.
Yeah, it was.
In the Shadeur section, I talked about like appealing to authority. I feel like with Penn, I always thought like they can't be as dumb as they seem. Like this is $1 billion operation that's publicly traded, and now it just seems like no, they were that dumb. Like this is gotta be one of the dumbest companies to ever exist. What they did, especially just like moving from like Barstool not working and then letting essentially Barstool go for nothing and going to ESPN Bet. Like that was just such an unbelievably head scratching move that seemed to be just that dumb.
Even thinking that the Score's tech would be like good enough.
Yeah.
When they bought it, which was the tech they used for Barstool, like it was just bad. It was inferior. And there was probably a time where they just felt if we throw enough money, if if we get in at the right moment, we'll just make money. It's sports gambling. And it doesn't, for how dumb the sports bettor is, it seems like you need more than just being like part of something that's popular.
Yeah.
Be it Barstool, be it ESPN.
Agreed. For me, it's a good listen. If you have 45 minutes, listen to it. John's very smart. He's articulate. He's also very open. Like he doesn't hold back, right? And his part of his point was these are smart people from Penn, but they didn't really understand like any strategy of how to bring this forward. My whole thing is though is there is a trade-off when you exit a business. Like once you cash out, it's no longer yours, and you can see things from the outside and be like, yeah, this is going to be a problem, but at the end of the day, it's the new owner's right to do what they want. Yeah,
the public, yes, he got the money,
yeah,
and that's worth more than like the credit.
Yeah,
unlike Zilbert.
Yeah.
At the same time, the score is his baby, and
there's
lots of people who like might not even be aware he took $2 billion to move,
yeah,
and just see something negative written about the score that he's got nothing to do with, and it just infuriates.
Well, I can tell it does,
and it like a sense of like a crushed, right, like your first child or something that you handed off, and now you see them like homeless, and you just feel crushed about it. So, like, I think it's more like just venting.
Yeah, me and my wife sold our first house last December to move to another spot. And she still does a drive-by like once a month, right? And she comes back and she's like, Rob, can you believe that they took out the raspberry bush on the side? I'm like, yeah, I can believe it. We sold it. Like, if you wanted to keep the raspberry bush, like, we should have kept the house. What do you want me to tell you? Like, they're the new owners. It's like, oh, they took out all this grass in the front.
They painted the door.
And I'm like, Diana, like, leave it. Like, we don't own the house anymore. Like, it's done. We chose to sell the house. And that's how I felt about this. It's not that it's not a good... I love John. Like, if he ever did buy back the score in some capacity, I would call him up right away and be like, I would love to help you with this. And that's how much I really enjoyed working with John. He's extremely smart. Benji, his oldest son, I got along with really, really well. But at some point, you could tell it still eats away. And it's like, you just got to let it go, man. Like, it's done now.
It reminds me of my mom. We were young, we moved. It was the house that we built, and she just could not, they weren't like upkeeping it to her standard, and it would drive her nuts.
Yeah.
It'd drive her nuts, and it's like, get a life. Like, it's not yours.
Exactly.
All right, we can finally move to, we'll call it the bonus content on the show, which is in the form of the chopping block. We have a few things on the chopping block today. It's actually really tough to trim down today's episode to fill in the main topics. There's a lot you guys did want to discuss. This was definitely one of the big ones. There was an Internet Invitational golf tournament, which I'm going to defer to everyone else in the panel because they know a lot about this stuff and I know very little. But to my understanding, a lot of very prominent internet personalities in the golf space played in a tournament with each other. And there were very much some allegations of cheating, that came from Molosi Togisala.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
And he says, hey guys, I can handle all these bad messages and threats, but please stop messaging my wife and family. They don't need to see that. Only come at me. Love and appreciate y'all. And I will say you should never go after someone's family for something that you don't like them doing in a sporting event. That's like completely inexcusable. However, the quote tweet from Jack says, I watched the Internet Invitational. The people in these comments defending this guy's character are crazy. Guy was throwing clubs and cheating any chance he got. Absolute scumbag. I can't believe the next generation is growing up learning the game from good YouTube golfers. So again, don't go after somebody's family, but there was apparently some egregious behavior. There was an example of it where he was in the fescue and he had his playing partner, I think, pushed down on the fescue.
Paige Sporanic.
Yeah. Well,
pushed
that
down
one
the
wasn't
grass
really
in front of the ball.
His fault, to be fair.
That wasn't his fault.
She
That was more
pushed down
her
the
fault.
fescue in front of his ball to give him a clear shot out of the fescue, which people were very, very unhappy with. Before we go to the next part of this, which is something Kirk tweeted, just what did you guys want to discuss about this? Any thoughts on this?
Yeah. So why I wanted to include it. So spoiler alert, if you haven't watched this yet, there's going to be spoilers. And like it has millions of views. So by now, Barstool's tweeting the clips of how this turned out and everything like that. This is a brilliant idea by Barstool. Like amazing content. My wife doesn't watch YouTube golf, and she was like very interested in watching this as well. It had like so much basically the final match was for $1 million. So an extreme amount of tension between these two threesomes. This guy, Mo, was involved in rangefinder gate, slope gate, where he was flagging yardages, and it appeared that he had the slope on his rangefinder, which is not allowed. So he was giving yardages that were like 5 yards off everyone else. And somebody asked him, they're like, is your like slope on? And he's like, no. And they flagged it. And they're like, well, I'm getting like very different numbers than you. He immediately went back to his golf cart, and he's on camera in his cart because every cart has a camera. And you can't see for sure. Portnoy had a great line. He's like, this is going to be like the modern day, like JFK type of situation, because you can see him like try to toggle something, but it's not clear on his rangefinder.
The real Zapruder film, as you were mentioning, people are like hearing the click.
Yes.
Because all the rangefinders make like a pretty distinct click when you slope on or off.
Yes. So honestly, I just wanted to like, I just wanted to shout out like an amazing idea and great piece of content that had all the drama of people who are playing for $1 million, ending with a guy like blading a chip shot across the green after Portnoy called them butter knives like 2 holes before on the
for years.
Yeah, but like he said he wasn't gonna say anything to him, and then he like introduced him as Frankie Butter Knives. Electric content. With regards to this stuff, in a court of law, Mo is never going to be he's not ever going to be convicted. There's not enough evidence there. I feel pretty confidently that he cheated in this instance. With that said, people do go overboard, like tweeting about to families and stuff like that. It's honestly crazy when you even just take a step back and think like of what I was watching a decade ago, and now I'm watching YouTube golf, where average people are tweeting at the personalities, like telling them to kill themselves and stuff like that because they cheated in an online golf event. It's fucked, but amazing, amazing content. And the reason I want to talk about it is because I saw Kirk's tweet previously, and it was something that I really wanted to touch on.
I would just say I don't really give a shit about internet golf at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't appeal to me one bit. Like if I want to watch like good players play golf, then I want to watch pros. And if I want to watch and there's also nothing funnier than like when my two buddies who are 30 handicaps put something like make a bet and play a hole against each other. It's like the funniest it's like my funniest memories of summer, those. So I don't get entertained by like good people on the internet golfing. Unless it's like a Bryce, like unless there's like a gimmick to it. That being said, the Internet Invitational, they crushed it. And it actually like had me have this moment where you saw like the views of the 3 episodes combined, and it hits you like the PGA couldn't like fucking do that.
Yeah.
Like it was like actually like, is this actually the biggest, I don't mean the Internet, it was like they became Thanos and joined forces and created this great event. But in like when they become Thanos, it's like, they're actually the biggest fucking entity in all of golf. So that's what I wanted to say.
As a quote-unquote content guy now, in addition to my income from betting, I immediately watch that and I'm like, what's the betting equivalent of how can we do a betting equivalent of this? Then as I thought about it more, I'm like, this will actually be the worst event of all. This works for YouTube golf because all these guys have their own channels, and some of them don't even a lot of these people aren't even good golfers. I'm better than half the people that are playing in this thing, but it's the personality and it's the fact that they're real people. Whereas this will eventually happen in the betting space, being like some sort of big betting invitational. It's going to be the biggest fucking grifters and scammers all put together and competing in some sort of betting competition that's going to drive millions of views. That is going to be like the low point in the betting space.
And the other tweet here was from Kirk Evans on the panel. It says, okay, I know I'm going to get absolutely roasted for this take. I watch a ton of YouTube golf. I generally think, what's the name? Brad
Dahlke.
Brad Dahlke could be a high-level PGA Tour player. Geoff, Rob, do you agree or disagree?
When I saw this tweet from Kirk, I have thought this before and been too scared to tweet it.
You're afraid.
For the people. I watch this guy.
What does high level mean?
I don't know about high level PGA Tour, but
What does that mean?
yeah.
Top 50 in the world.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Like, if you just watched, like, do you know who like Luke List is?
Like, I know the name.
Like, is he better? Like, is he better than Alex Smalley? Like, I don't know.
Let me say this. So you said you don't really care at all about YouTube golf. Like, and I recognize this is an embarrassing thing to say, but like the Internet Invitational was literally my Super Bowl.
No.
I watch so much YouTube golf,
same.
and this was like you said, like the Avengers coming together. Like I watch all those people. I watch individually.
Okay.
So, but the thing is, I watch Brad, but also Tommy Fleetwood has a channel. Bryson has a channel.
Exactly.
John Rahm comes on these channels all the time, and like. A lot of people, honestly, the reception to this tweet was much better than I expected. But like, I watched Tommy Fleetwood play, an easy course, and Bryson play an easy course, and Brad play an easy course, and it's like, it just doesn't look that different. But also, Brad was like one of the best college golfers in the world, and
He had the yips.
he had the
basically.
driver
yips.
yips at the time, and he was still unbelievable. Now his driver it's like the
Jeff,
straightest.
It's almost
I've
Bryson
seen-
drives.
I've seen,
he
like-
hits the ball like 330.
No, I've seen even before the Internet Invitational. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen Morikawa say that he thinks.
He's the best
what you
golfer.
think-
Dalkey's the best
what you
golfer,
think.
non-PGA golfer.
And
in
I
the
would
world.
just like to say my point on like not caring about internet golf is like, why do I want to watch like Grant Horvat level player on the internet when like I can like just, it's like too good to be entertaining to me. The Grant Horvat, like I get it. Like
Grant Horvat is too nice of a guy. I don't like Grant Horvat.
But anyone of that like skill level, I don't care to watch them like play golf with their friends or other really good golfers.
Yeah.
You either need to be like the pro,
Yeah.
which I'll take time out of my weekend to watch, or you need to be like bad enough where there's, I don't
Like
know,
Bob
there's
does
like
sports,
a
where
comedy
it's, like,
or
funny.
like the breaking, like the authentic, like breaking 90, breaking 100. That I can get into. But just like watching Grant Horvat and people of that skill, I'm just singling out Grant.
Yeah.
Does zero for me. I don't know. Dalkey, you can get
but to
invitations.
But the
First
thing
point-
is, it seems like he's gonna make a run. So this is like the most invested. Like me and my buddies put on
Dalkey
a Brad Dalkey
responded to
video.
you.
Good, let's go.
responded
No,
to you.
I would like. I'll say this. I don't even like know much about him other than the hearsay.
Yeah.
But I would very much be like a supporter if he actually started this journey to prove that he could do it in like T10 PGA events.
To Kirk's point, what's really changed things for me is that you now have all these pros who either have their own channels, in the case of Bryson, or you have guys like John Rahm appearing on like Bob Does Sports, Tommy Fleetwood, Max Homa, like a lot of so you get to see them play alongside these other YouTubers now. And you see someone play. I know Grant Horvat recently beat Bryson in like a 9-hole match or whatever, but you see him play alongside the pros usually, and you're like, well, his drive's like 30, 40 yards shorter. He's got a great swing. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be Grant Horvat, but he's not a top level pro caliber player. Then you watch Brad, and you're like, this guy is like a machine. I really believe that. I do believe his short game is so fucking good.
How old is he?
He's 26.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I want it
just
to
wanna
happen.
see it.
Like,
I
golf-
want this take. This is your opposite
golf
JJ
is-
McCarthy take.
No, but
this is your
golf
redemption story.
Golf is like beautiful in the sense that there's so many stories of guys that like literally rich guys in a country club like just believe in like a bag shop boy and they like fund a journey. Or even Ben Griffin, who made the Ryder Cup team, gave up and was selling mortgages
Yeah. Oh,
really?
for a couple years. And now like I think he just won 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Again, third time this year. So like golf is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And that'd be beautiful. And I don't know anything of it, but I'll give you credence to say, like you watch Tommy, Bryce, like you watching these consortium of pros put in the exact same spot as Brad has been.
That's it. That's
and
what it comes
Brad
down to.
is like, you're not noticing a discernible
Yeah,
difference.
you're like,
So-
this guy's just playing like a real good pro.
Yeah.
Like,
So what Golden Pants said? That's his Twitter.
But
handle?
why does it?
Yeah,
He's
he said-
he's stopped him. Sorry, there's got to be people would give him a sponsor's invite to something tomorrow.
Well, Good is sponsoring a tournament, so like I think he's going to play pro tournament. Yeah, I think he's going to play pro tournament.
He played like I believe
he played in the Masters
5 or 6.
Has he ever tried to Monday qualify?
I don't know. I don't know the full life story.
The problem is his life is like so good right now. Like he's probably rich playing YouTube, so it's like I don't think he wants to like grind out Q school, right? So that's kind of where the problem comes in. But I do think he's going to try being pro. But apparently, this is what Golden Pin said, who bets on golf like very substantially, that like the difference is that if you watch them on a course like this that they play, it won't look that different because it's driver into wedge. But the pros are so good with their long irons, and you pretty much never see him hit a long iron, which I can see. But again, I just want to see.
But also out of like rough or tougher conditions or greenside rough. And I believe that like when Good is going to a course, they're not in like championship conditions. So yeah, I and that's the defining factor. And like honestly, making 5-footers and even Tigers, like it's like you don't understand the difference. There's like no amount of money that like can match the intensity of like just a sideways 5-footer to get out for par.
Absolutely. But hopefully we get to see it.
I also believe that with his life, why would he want the grind of like today?
But he does seem like the type of guy who's like, he wants to be like the best.
It makes
golfer
you wonder
versus like, he's not so much a YouTuber. He's very like, he's not a big personality at all.
It makes you wonder why, in hindsight, like to me, more guys should have taken like the live bag because making that money by actual winning on the tour.
So hard.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I got lost in golf.
Yeah, turn it to a bit of a long topic, but that's okay. This one should be a little bit shorter, but I found this one to be extremely entertaining. It comes from originally WizBets, who asked about how to grade certain wagers for your public tracking. He said, in this question answered by the entire of #gambling Twitter community, if the books you promote for a play has injury insurance, should a capper count that bet as a void? Example, if Franz or OG don't come back. So like if a player were to leave in the first quarter of a game, FanDuel would void it. If you were giving the pick out tracked at FanDuel, would you count it as a void or a loss towards your public tracking? Somebody else also mentioned this one, saying that everyone needs to hear this. If my books reboots this, I'm not marking it as a loss as I didn't lose money on it. Sorry, not sorry. What do we think on this conversation, Kirk?
Yeah, like this is just about as egregious as it gets from scummy touts. Like, what are we doing here? Like, one, if you're a tout giving out picks and you have like any pulse, the play will move and people will probably be betting it on a bunch of different books. So the idea that like, oh, I released it at FanDuel so everyone has insurance, like maybe, I don't know what percentage of people are actually getting the line at FanDuel. This to me is obviously a loss. To say I'm not marking it a loss and I didn't lose money on it, like, this is to me very clearly loss.
If you're like that deep in the game,
Yes.
where like 1 L on your win-loss record, you feel like is the balance between someone thinking you know what you're doing and not knowing what you're doing. You have no clue what you're doing. So that's like, you really it's just a sign that you're so fucked anyway.
I feel like I'm in an alternate reality.
How would Zilbert want this graded? How would he grade it for himself versus the public?
No, I'm going to
grade it as a void.
I'm going to say no comment because I do not want the amount of replies that are going to come with how I really feel.
That's the third time I've brought him up today.
I know. But you know what? We stayed true on another promise of no one in November.
That was tough, man. There were some really good comments
Honestly,
I wanted to feature.
It is so tough to do this show today. Like 1 week later from making that commitment and the amount of quality content I could have used this week. He's releasing plays saying like crediting like G-Stack George.
No.
Okay, done.
No. You can't allude to it.
Yeah, you're right.
That doesn't
Right.
count. We're moving on.
You're right.
Vegas Dave is in the news. A judge has ordered Las Vegas sports betting influencer Vegas Dave to pay over $30 million to an upscale vacation rental agency, according to the Las Vegas Review Journal. What the hell is going on here?
I don't even know. I actually read the article and I couldn't really understand specifically what he did. That was a real problem. My biggest takeaway is that there is nothing surprising about a court ordering Vegas Dave to pay back $30 million. It is, for as long as I've known sports betting, Vegas Dave has been the centerpiece in what you would consider to be.
He's the pinnacle
of like scummy behavior.
Yes, of scummy touts.
Yes, he is that guy. So anytime you see a story like that, it's like, okay,
water's wet.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what am I going to add to that?
And the last one comes from @coach_Corso, who quote tweeted a tweet from Kelly in Vegas, who was giving out her Week 12 college football underdogs while she's on vacation. Coach Corso quote tweeted, and said, "You know your favorite tout is sharp when they take a vacation during the heart of football season." Is that true? Is that what the sharp ones do, Rob?
Well, listen, I would not want to be judged on my vacations during football season. Years ago, my betting partner got married in November in Cabo on an NFL weekend, and I said to him, I'm like, "You are insane. Like, why are we doing this?" He's like, talk to my fiance. Like, what do you want me to tell you? And I attended the wedding, and it wasn't a regular NFL work week for us. Sometimes duty calls. The thing with this is, like, Kelly is a content creator. She's not a pro bettor. And frankly, like, if you look at what she's doing nowadays, she's doing content for Wager Talk, a few other brands that she's promoting. She's really just trying to drum up like subscriptions and sales for that brand. She's in the content business, not pro betting business. I mean, the vast majority of the analysis is rooted in, the public is betting this side, I'm taking the other, which you can do on a beach anywhere. So if it was someone claiming to be a pro bettor that, was in Hawaii maybe for half a year, 6 months with no access to regulated sports books or something like that, taking hikes on the beaches and stuff, then yeah, I would be like, yeah, it's not adding up here. I think in this instance, kind of just, it's a little like low-hanging fruit.
I agree. To me, this is like, we could find a million things worse from a million touts. This is total nothing burger.
Yeah.
I don't know how to respond to that other than Coach Corso called me a Jew slur, get in the oven.
Wow. Coach Lee Corso, that guy?
Yeah.
Wow. Not a fan
Oh,
of
this guy.
Not the real Lee
No,
Corso.
no, yeah.
Account
No, like
that
I'm saying the guy who tweeted.
the parody
Yeah.
account.
So not a Fienberg guy.
Like, not right now.
No.
Just, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Previously.
Fuck, that's horrible, man.
That is
Jesus.
pretty bad way to
Some
end
of
the show.
these guys out there, holy fuck.
But that is the end of the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Make sure if you enjoyed, you hit the like button and subscribe for more content just like it. Circle back every Monday and Friday. Bonus content every Wednesday. So much great stuff at Circles Off and in the Hammer Betting Network. We will, of course, see you again next time.